So Nvidia brought us to Austin, Texas and launched the GTX 1080 and GTX 1070 early enough that they would give people time to hype up before Computex. They told us nothing about this trip beforehand, and I knew nothing on my way down. So the first thing they did was bring us to a ranch, a massive, gorgeous 30-acre ranch. They had tons of cool stuff there like ATV rides, riding horses, going fishing, kayaking, skeet shooting, tons of stuff. It was fantastic, but it still didn't have anything to do with graphics cards. So I interviewed a horse and asked him what he thought about the GTX 1080. So Marvin, what kind of how many transistors do you think it's gonna have? What about CUDA cores, memory speed, memory bandwidth? Okay, and what do you think about the overall kind of Batmobile aesthetic that we saw leaked on the Nvidia website? Interesting. I think Marvin actually might have better insights than some of the reviewers here. Check this out. Now that is one smart horse, isn't he? If you've seen the live stream, if you know the specs of this card, you know that he's pretty damn accurate. But let's compare his accuracy to other various tech reviewers in the space and see what they expected from the GTX 1080. All right, Jay, what are your predictions for the GTX 1080?
Well, first, Luke, I'd like to welcome you to my study. I think the GTX 1080, man, I don't know what to expect. But I think obviously it's meant for 1080p gaming. I mean, clearly it's in the name, right? So for all of you 4K and QHD enthusiasts, we'll get you next time.
I'm going to use a demonstration here. So the GTX 1080 I think will be a lot like this dessert here. Lovely dessert. First off, it's provided by Nvidia. So there's obviously a correlation right there. Second, we're expecting the new Pascal technology, including COWOS. Can you call that CoWoS? I don't know how to pronounce that. CoWoS?
Yeah.
Chip on wafer on substrate. You can see the layers of this cake, the striations within there. That's obviously representing that. And then you have this, which is just a piece of chocolate.
Well, they're dropping a lot of hints here. This life vest is sort of a representative of the marketing hype. You better be ready for this raging river that's coming.
Yep.
And then we've got this river over here. It's about knee deep, which is about indicative of the performance increase I expect.
All right, Anthony, what predictions do you have for the GTX 1080?
Titan X performance within a small package, less power, a good price, and AMD is gonna hurt.
It's going to be Pascal, of course. I would expect GDDR5 or 5X. I don't think HBM2 will be on this quite yet. Yield's not there yet.
Yeah.
That's really the main part of my projections right now.
All right, Kyle, so what do you expect from the GTX 1080?
I think the real question, Luke, is what does the GTX 1080 expect from me? And what do most people expect from me these days, Paul? Absolutely nothing. That's right.
Okay, so as you can probably tell, enthusiasm wasn't super high. Most people were kind of making jokes and not expecting a massive amount. They're expecting something good, but not something groundbreaking. And then the event was actually kind of impressive. So I gathered some guys, came back to the hotel room, and we had a discussion about it. The discussion was almost an hour long, so a lot of it's gonna be cut out. But here's some highlights.
Well, I think usually when you're talking about a new launch, you're looking at, I don't know, maybe Intel's gotten us too used to expecting a 10 to 15% performance boost per generation.
Like clockwork.
Yeah, so the numbers, at least that we're seeing from Nvidia as far as performance compared to last generation, specifically like Titan X, I mean, it's insane. The fact that you could get a 1070 for 300 and, how much is it? 379. It's better than a Titan X right now. I mean, that's
reference 1070 is better than the Titan X. And you know there's gonna be board partner versions.
Yeah.
But I was most shocked at the fact that, so you and I had speculated, what are they gonna compare it to? Are they gonna benchmark it against 680? Are they gonna maybe 780?
I thought at the most it would be 780.
They came right out of the chute with the 980 and then went there and said it's faster than Titan X.
Yeah.
They literally obsoleted their current offerings entirely.
You do have to remember,
2 980s in SLI.
That was crazy.
Yes.
That was nuts when they put that up. You do have to remember that their charts are a little bit cherry picked. Mm-hmm. So they would do things like it was faster, but then the x-axis is wattage.
Yeah.
And then in like this one, it's like strictly pure VR performance. They never talked very specifically about like
they didn't mention DX performance at all.
Yeah, they didn't talk about DX in the slightest. We talked to them afterwards,
right?
And they said a 25% bump compared to
980 Ti and Titan X.
2,560 CUDA cores, easy to remember, 2560 bit.
This is all 1080, right?
Yeah, this is for the 1080, yes. We don't have these specs for the 1070. 1607 megahertz base clock, that gives you 8.2 teraflops at base. 1733 megahertz boost clock it for 8.9 teraflops. 320 gigabytes per second is the memory is the memory throughput. 256 bit, 8 gigabytes of GDDR5X, and 180 watt listed power with a single 8-pin connector.
That's the most impressive part to me. Like how they're able to go from having this car that uses so much power, like a Titan X. It's hot and it's loud, and it can use a lot of power, but it's really fast. And they've gone down to a single 8-pin. That's just.
Well, I jokingly tweeted during the event, that I personally I don't care about power consumption. Give me all the FPS. I'm okay with a power hog, but this might be the first time where I'm actually excited about the TDP reduction, because obviously with 3 Titan X's and a water loop and massive radiators, I still deal with a lot of heat, and any amount of heat that I can reduce now is only bonus.
Yeah, and you said during the event, like when they were doing that whatever demo that was, where they were just spinning around the guy and whatnot, that was only running at 67 degrees.
Yep. Yeah, when they brought up Precision X overlay, it showed 2114 megahertz, which we are kind of speculating that's going to be like the Founders Edition.
Yeah, the Founder card.
But and memory was overclocked to 1116.
Yeah, effective 11,000.
11,016 megahertz
for the GDDR5. Like, just considering potential overclocks for whatever the Founder, like we don't know yet either. We don't know if what we're shown is a Founders Edition yet, right?
We're speculating just because of how far percentage-wise that is.
But so much headroom, like 16 to 1700 megahertz base and boost, but up to over 2000, and this is fairly early.
But then, like we were talking about before, what they showed us, we don't know if the Founders Edition has 2 8-pin connectors. They haven't said anything about
regardless, the temperature shown was 67 C. So unless they had this thing with like some sort of an air conditioner blowing directly on it, what the F is up with that temperature and that overclock?
Yeah, and like we're in Texas, so it's not like
it was almost 90 degrees today. You're sunburned.
I'm super sunburned, and like, wow, okay, that's pretty bad. What do you guys think aesthetically of the card? Because going into this, the photos that we saw from the like whatever factory that it leaked from, and then the leak they had looked way super aggressive.
Yeah,
like I thought there was gonna be massive cut-in chunks and stuff.
Right.
It's actually somewhat subtle. What do you
it's
guys
a lot
think
less
about
Transformers like.
Yeah.
It looks like I was waiting for that to like just transform, but it looks way cleaner.
I feel like I would have liked to have seen a more radical cooler design change, since it's such a radical new innovation for them in terms of 16 nanometers. I think we've kind of the cooler I'm disappointed in. I like the new angles and stuff. Hopefully, maybe that'll allow some more air to get in there for reference style multi GPU configs. But I don't know. We've seen the same cooler now for like 4 years.
A long time. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. It is 3:30 in the morning, and I haven't even started editing this yet, and I have to wake up at 6. How is that going to work? I'm probably not going to sleep. Anyways. I'm going to release another video tomorrow with probably more in-depth, like hands-on stuff about the different technologies and stuff that they talked about. Hopefully I can get more information on the Founders Edition, because what the hell's going on there? Anyways, guys, stay tuned. Check out tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button if this was awesome. Hit the dislike button if you're like, screw you, this video sucks, go to sleep. That would be fair. Use our Amazon affiliate code. Buy a cool shirt. Become a member of the forum. You guys know what it all about. I'm going to bed. No! I'm editing this, and then I'm going to bed.